everyone, and welcome to today's art stream. Today it's a Tiefling day, as you can see. We are going to be working on this character who is a Tiefling Gun-Slinger. They are a wonderful shade of purple, which as you can see I have already popped down the base paint layer for. So today we're basically just gonna crack on with kind of doing this shading and painting the portraits. So before I get fully started, I just need to pull up some reference. But yes, it is Purple Teeth Day. Grabbing a few reference up on my other computer. Everything's always up on the wrong computer. Okay, yeah, this should do. Cool, so let's get started. So as you can see, they have a very cool kind of slightly western feel to them. I had a lot of fun kind of doing the embellishment for the holster, which I'm going to enjoy painting when we get down that far. But for now, we're going to focus on the face and the portrait. Okay, so making sure that we have alpha channel locked, we are going to get started. So I already have a palette up here that I prepared earlier. So we're going to start using that to introduce the shadows and light. We're going to be very light with the pen for this, as I always kind of do when I'm painting in this style. Just starting off putting down our base layer of shadows, just to start getting some shape to the face. Yeah, I love doing tieflings with all different colours. Purple is quite fun. I haven't done purple for a while. I can't remember the last time I did a purple tiefling actually. It'll probably turn out it was like last week and I've just forgotten. Oh no, I did do a flat shaded purple tiefling last week, but I haven't done a fully painterly one for quite a while, so this will be nice. Alright, other areas to focus on for shadow, under the lips. Like so. And coming around the side of the chin. And then we have in the corner of the eyes, we'll get some shadows coming out. Like so, and then also on the other side. Kind of similar kind of positioning for the shadow on this side. And then underneath the hair, there'll be some shadows kind of cast there, but again, for now we're keeping this fairly loose and rough, as we just kind of work out these preliminary shades. And then once we've got the basic area done, we can switch to a large brush and start blending the shadow into the skin tone. This is as always a very gradual process. Oh, Brickblade, thank you so much for the cheer. That's very, very kind. But yeah, this process is always fairly gradual because you can't really rush it. If you want to get that smooth finish anyway. You probably could rush it if you didn't mind so much about having all the paint brush marks visible, but personally I like to kind of smooth it all out nicely. Hey Rebel! Hope you're having a lovely week. I hope everyone's having a lovely week. Not much more of 2020 left. Nearly out of that one. Okay, let's just a little bit of blending down here. Because we don't want it quite so dark in a few places. And then there's a few bits up here that just need to be gone over. In fact, I'm slightly concerned. Let's just turn that off for a second. I wondered if my opacity wasn't where it was supposed to be. There we go, that helps a bit. There we go, let's turn that back on. Okay. Yeah, mine's been pretty good. Looking forward to the weekend. Should be nice. Looking forward to watching Mandalorian tonight. Very excited for that. We have this thing where every 2 weeks we get like takeaway and watch Mandalorian. It's very, very nice. D&D was really good. We're slowly making our way into the lair of an Ublex, and we just found like the master Ublex who's controlling all of the little ones. And that's where we ended the session. Was like in a disused smuggler's hideout, so it was very hard for my character to not give away to the others that she might in fact be a sort of smuggler herself, or at least works with the Myriad in Zadash. So that's always fun when you're like trying not to give away character secrets, but your character has a really bad deception score. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Alright, I think we're ready for the next darker colour. Okay, let's just pull this down and across a tiny bit, and it softens that shape a little. Alright, let's get a bit darker. Again, just really gently blending anywhere we've introduced a significantly different colour. Which, for me, usually involves, for blending, just taking lots and lots of samples of the bits between different shades, and then using those to paint with. Oh, that's such a shame. Yeah, I know that feels to have a hiatus and you're kind of waiting for people to be ready to play again, but then when you finally do, it's always really nice. I'm running my next session of Rime of the Frost Maiden next week, so got some planning to do for that. Just adding some darker shadows now into the corner of the eyes as you naturally get some more shadows kind of appearing there. We're starting to get some kind of nice shapes coming together, which is good. Oh gosh, medical school is terrifying. But yeah, that can sometimes work, to have like a B story going on, if the rest of you are all free. Hey Cyber Spectre! Welcome to today's stream. little bit more shadow this side. Excuse me, I'm somewhat gravelly throat today. Guess it's a Friday thing. Okay, so this is going quite well. I'm quite happy with how this is coming along. I might just add some shadows on the neck, just to kind of give us a suggestion of the shapes that we're gonna have. I'm not gonna do like the full shading or anything, just a little bit. And then I'm just going to go over it just with a layer of dark. Not quite that hard though, I need a bigger brush so I can get the softness right. That'll do for now. And so next thing to do, blending this into the side a little bit. That'll do for now for there. So the next thing to do on the face, let's just blend in this chin line a little bit. Need a smaller brush than that, I think. And Photoshop needs to catch up with me. Oh dear, the time of lag has come. So let's save just in case, because lagging always suggests it might just be tempted to crash. Which we don't want at all. And next we'll just blend in these shadows for the eyes, I think. There's a few places we can just tidy up, such as here. Here, and because we've got those lower eyelids kind of marked in, we can get rid of these lines here. We don't need those anymore. Okay, so now we can continue where we were, just doing some blending. Okay, so with that done, I think a good thing to do next is just add another, let's just add a bit more shadow, just in a couple of places where we need really that nice dark colour coming in. So tiny bit under the lip there. Then there will be some just coming in the corner of the eye there. That corner there. Such. Just makes the eyes pop a little bit more. Where else do we want proper dark? I mean, I know eventually we're going to want it here and underneath the chin, but I don't really want to focus too hard on that yet. I just scribble some in as reference for later. Yeah, okay, so let's start adding some highlights. I think... Ooh, maybe just a sec, I just want to blend this in first. There we go, that's a bit better. Okay, so with that done, I'm just going to pull this along here a tiny bit. And then, oh, I forgot something. We need to do the little divot between the lip and the nose, like there. Okay. Now we can move on to some highlights. So I'm going to make a new layer above the skin. I'm going to create a clipping mask. And I'm going to start highlighting. So, selecting a slightly lighter colour. I'm actually going to push this slightly towards pink because I want a bit more tone variation. Ooh, ouchie, that sounds very painful. I am dreading the day if I ever have to have my wisdom teeth removed. Okay, we're going to start by adding highlights to the forehead. Because that's where the very lightest spots tend to be found. Making sure to do this on the right layer before I go and mess everything up. And then we bring some down from the cheekbones. Across. I might even switch up to a really big brush. Just gently. It's a bit messy. Bring some a little bit further down. Like so. Cool, and then we're going to have some on the chin as well. Roughly here. And coming up the side of the jaws just slightly. And then making our brush a bit smaller because we're going to be adding some to the lip coming down here. When you zoom out, you can kind of see the shapes that we've got. And then we need to blend it all in. And it doesn't matter if we go over some shadows, we can always paint those back in. How's my commission queue looking? I still have quite a lot to do. I will probably be getting to some of the ones I haven't got to yet in the next couple of weeks. I'm at the point though where if I haven't already said I can guarantee it in time for Christmas, I probably can't guarantee it in time for Christmas. It's just kind of the way things work. Pieces can take several weeks, and I have to take quite a few months' work up front. So, like, if you have like a real burning reason you need to get your piece by Christmas, let me know and I can try, but I can't promise anything. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll have to do some more breakdowns. Like first, like basic techniques and stuff. Like when it comes to the blending and stuff, it's again, it very much comes with time. It's really difficult to teach because it takes so long to kind of train up the muscle memory in your hand for the kind of how light the strokes need to be and all that kind of stuff. Rachel, do you have a link to your commissions page? Yes! Commissions can be found on my... Whoops, that's not the right link at all. Oh, come on. My computer gets so slow at this time of the afternoon. Yes, commissions can be found on my Patreon. Let me just find the post for you. Ah, here it is. Blah, 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 blah. Continue reading. Yeah, I want to look at the post itself. Here it is. Alright, if you would like to have a look at my prices, they are here. Those are kind of starting prices. There we go. The Animal Crossing nose method is probably the easiest, like the best way I've been able to break it down and try and explain it. I'll see if I can find some similar kind of things for other parts of the painting process. Right, I'm going to move this to the side of the the damn screen because my tablet doesn't like me painting on the left-hand side right now. And don't forget to save. Yes, I'll just do this bit and then I'll hit that button. Okay, there's some blend there. Just actually thinking I might make this a bit brighter. Yeah. 3/4 view is often the hardest for most people. Funny enough, I actually find the hardest viewpoint to paint is straight on. So looking directly at the, for want of a better word, camera. I find it very hard to paint those kind of portraits without them feeling flat, which is why I often kind of go for the 3/4 style view. Probably have to cut it back a bit, it's a bit too heavy. Yes, you should. I love seeing other people's characters. Done a few drow lately, I really I like seeing lots of people's take on them. Yeah, this is a nice shade of purple, I must admit, I'm quite fond of it. Okay, that's coming along quite nicely. I'm gonna pull this colour down a bit, just minimise some of these shadows, because I actually prefer the slightly lighter tone we've been playing with. So, and then so looking at the other side, let's pull my reference back up. We're gonna have a little bit of the purple on the other side as well. Just a little bit, like so. And then I'm just gonna blend that in. Blend on this side as well. Chin a little bit heavy on that far left, and also on the right. Okay, so where else do we want to do some quick blending? I think just here, tiny bit, and along here. I like my lines to be smooth. And then we've got a little bit down here which has got a bit rough. So let's just... There we go. So let's save again before we lose everything. Yeah, purple is a really fun colour to paint with, and it just looks great. Very easy to make. Like purple is such a fun, like royal, flamboyant colour. Like characters can just rock purple. Right, so kind of see how that looks. So let's merge that down. Just going to do one more stage of highlights. So once again, kind of see that we want to be moving towards pink. And then this will just be for the very lightest points on the skin tone. So this left brow here. The cheek. There'll be some on the nose as well. I'll just put a tiny hint of it on the chin as well. And then we blend. Same up here. To minimize those sideways lines. There. Still needs a bit up top, I think, so just quickly do that. Lovely. Okay, so next thing to do. I think we need to look at the nose now, finally. So merging down that nice bright highlight, it is time to make another layer, similar to before, clip down and work on the nose. The nose is going to start slightly darker than the rest of the face. Quite that dark, we'll probably go for that as a little in-between tone. And then, as was mentioned earlier, starting with the Animal Crossing method, which means I'm basically drawing a large triangle that covers the general area of the nose. Which reminds me of the way that Animal Crossing villagers have like a triangle nose. It's cute. And then we're just going to blend that into the surrounding area. Like so. In this case, it's fairly easily done. Okay, so next up, once you've got that blended in, oops, going to do a tiny bit more up here. Okay, once that's blended in, the next thing to do is to take a dark tone, like so, and use that to basically outline the areas of dark shadow that you're going to get on the bottom of the nose. From the nostrils, going to curl around like that. And then we get a bit of shadow as that kind of joins together here. You can kind of see the shape that's starting to take. Okay, so once you've kind of got that basic shape in, it's time to do the shape of the side of the nostril we have coming around on this side. So that's going to come around like that, and then I'm going to switch up to a big brush, oh, not quite that big, just to gently create the shadow. That nostril is kind of putting in there, and then we will blend that in. So. And we have a nose coming together. Okay, so I'll probably end up fiddling. I always end up kind of going to and fro with the nose a bit. But the next thing to do, I think we will add some light. So we're going to do what I call the diamond method, where we take the area where light will be attracted. In this case, kind of like a diamond-shaped plateau on top of the nose is the shape most people have. And then from that, we will add some blending, just to soften it a bit. And a little bit of light over here on the nostril as that comes around. And then we will have a stripe coming down from the brow. Sometimes you have to kind of go back over your shadows a bit if you've accidentally kind of taken them off a bit. Do I accept commissions at the moment? My commissions are currently closed, just because I'm fully booked for the next couple of months. But when I do open commissions, I try to make it very clear on both on Twitter and on my Patreon, all those kind of places. If you check them out, it should be very clear when I open them up. I usually give some warning as well. What do I want to do here? I've kind of got this dark that needs to come down a bit more on this side. Camouflage up! There we go, finally. And so blend this in. Nose. I have a little bit of light just creeping through here. And then we can add the real nice bright bits of light. In this case, she's gonna come in here. There's also going to be a bit of light that's just going to come down here, marking the side of that brow. Just going to, again, blend in those sides a bit so it's not quite so strong. Alright, and now let's save again. Yeah, I mean, Cyberpunk's not really my cup of tea, so I probably won't be playing it. But, you know, I'm kind of just watch what everyone else kind of hype about it, really. But yeah, it's not really my thing. Okay, and there's also going to be a little bit of light. It's going to be coming around like so. Okay, it's nice. And then we can draw down this shadow and have that just creeping in to that line there. And then we've got a bit of a mess over here. What's that? Okay, let's get rid of that. Alright, and the nose is pretty much there. So what I would like to do next is create a new layer above the lines. This is the overlines layer. This will be where I minimize some of the line art a bit so it's not quite so hefty. And basically I'm just going to get straight into that. I'm going to start just by toning down that line art there. And then basically doing a paint over the line art, like so. Just so it blends in nicely with the surrounding area. Okay, and then the nose is nicely blended in and integrated with the rest of the face. So the next thing to do after the nose will be the lips. So we'll keep the separate layer we've been working on the nose and use that as we put the lips in. So the top lip is usually a darker colour, so that will be a good starting point. I'm actually going to push the lips towards a bit more of a pinky purple again. I haven't seen it, no. Again, like, I try not to get too hyped for games too soon, because otherwise I'll be like, well, burnt out by the time it finally releases. It's like, I'm still really excited to play Baldur's Gate 3. I haven't downloaded the kind of like the early access at all because I want the kind of experience when I finally get there, to be, you know, kind of whole. I kind of want to experience the whole thing at once. So I'm super excited for that's like my main game I'm looking forward to, because I adore the Divinity series. But like, I'm just going to be patient. In the meantime, I've got plenty of Destiny Beyond Light to keep me busy anyway. Okay, so bottom lip. So I'm going to have a new layer for that bottom layer. Once again, pushing slightly towards a richer pinky purple, and then we're just gonna dunk this color on here. Like so, and now with those two lips kind of laid out, we can start shading them. So, starting with a darker colour for the top lip, we will add some shading. And then we can use some of the colours from the top lip to help us shade the bottom lip. Like so. Just drawing the shadow across. And yes, Hawkmoon is back. I haven't quite claimed it yet. I've done the basically all of the quests to earn it. I just need to do the last bit, kind of turn it in. But then I don't use hand cannons a whole lot. In PvP, I tend to use Crimson because I'm a really bad aim, and Crimson gives me 3 chances to hit someone. But Hawkmoon does look pretty cool. Alright, that shadow's coming along real nice. Let's just get a bit more dark tone for the top lip. little bit of dark on that bottom lip. Alright, yeah, I'm really happy with how those coming on. I'm going to add a tiny bit of shadow just in this corner. Like so, give that a little bit of shape. And then we're going to go back to that overlines layer, and we are going to just paint over the line art to get rid of it. We do not need it anymore. And this just neaten the whole thing up a bit. Like so. And then once that's done, we can add a little bit of light. Just by way of some little shinies. Oh, thank you so much, Cyberspectre. They've been a lot of fun so far. Just a little bit of shine on the bottom lip there. Okay, and now we've got lips and nose done, which is awesome progress. Let's save. And I think at that point it's time we look at the eyes. Now this character has very lovely, bright pink cat eyes, which is going to be really cute to paint. I'm just going to merge these down. So looking forward to that a lot. First, let's add a little bit more distinction around the eyes themselves, neaten them up a bit. We're going to have some areas of bright highlight, just checking my model. Coming around those inner corners like so. How do I feel about drawing railguns? I could probably draw a railgun. It would probably take me a little while, but definitely something I could do. There's not a lot of things I won't do. There we go, that's a little bit matching on the other side, that's better. Okay, going back down to the skin there, I'm just going to blend in some of this shadow a wee bit. Whoops, that's zooming too far in, I think. Yeah, I don't know where they introduced Gunslinger, but I don't know if it might actually be UA or I can't remember if it was Matt Mercer that kind of introduced it. But Gunslinger is definitely a thing. I've seen a lot of people playing Gunslingers. Unearthed Arcana, that's kind of like when they introduce playtest materials that aren't official yet. So people can kind of test them and try them out and kind of know how balanced they are. Just gonna go all the way down to a 3, just some really light lashes there. Alright, let's actually start looking at just neatening up this lower lid. Hey Stu, welcome. Always lovely to have you. Cool, I think it is time for some eyes. So, a new layer above the skin. As always, this time, actually, no, not a clipping mask this time. We are going to start with a very deep purple for these. For when commissions open up again, I still have the link up. all prices can be found here. Those are kind of starting prices. Obviously, if you don't have existing art reference for a character, it can cost a bit more because I have to do the design work, and that takes me quite a while because it includes research, doing various iterations before I actually settle on a final design, and then obviously it tends to involve more changes from you, so that's all kind of included there. Alright, so with our initial layer for the eyes, making sure that's now alpha locked, we can make our way up through the gradient until we get to a nice light colour. Be very gentle with this stage, like my pen is hardly touching the tablet. But you end up with a nice looking kind of backdrop for your eyes. Okay, so the next stage to this process is to paint the iris. So this time I am making a clipping mask. These eyes are going to be a lovely bright pink. So we're going to start with a dark pink, as I usually start darker and work my way out light. Okay, with that, then I'm gonna mask the alpha out, add a quick kind of gradient, like so, and then we're going to go up to that overlines layer and we're going to move down to a very dark, almost black. Oh, you're here in chat, lovely! Oh, I'm pleased that you are enjoying her so far. And you come in for one of the most fun parts, which is eyes, so. Firstly, just going to go around the edges. Let's make that brush smaller. 4 is too small, give me a 6. There we go. Just going around the edges a little bit before I do the cat eye. I love tieflings with cat eyes. Mine also has the same sort of eyes. Alright, okay, and now we're going to start bringing this eye colour brighter. So, starting from that pink that we originated with, we're just going to jump up there. And now I am going down to a 4 because this is quite detailed. I'm going to start by adding kind of an outline around the pupil. Like so. And then at this point, you can kind of use the colours you've got to really change shapes as you need to if you're working on the overlines layer, just because it kind of is independent of the line art, so you don't need to worry about that. Alright, now we're going to get even brighter. Really nice bright pinky red for this. Like so. And then what we can do is everyone's favourite layer is the shinies layer. We can add a really nice spot of bright light. In this case, about here, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, might move the one on the right down ever so slightly. And then just raise it a little bit. And then because it's fun, also we don't, I'll keep the palette there just for a little bit. Because it's fun, taking that super bright pink, I am going to set this to start with to overlay and just paint over the surface of the eye. In fact, no, I'm not. I'm just gonna mostly concentrate it on the iris itself. Then we can play with some layer modes. I'm going to stick it on hard light for a moment and then stick a blur on it. Just so we have ever such a slight glow going on around the eyes. What we can do is we can make this lighter. It's a fairly minimal addition, but it just gives the eyes a little bit of a pop. And I'm going to stick it underneath the shinies because the shinies actually really needs to go on top. Like so. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is some eyebrows. I'm going to merge that eye layer into its own kind of thing. And yeah, we're going to do some eyebrows. So this character has dark kind of indigo blue hair, which is going to fade into kind of silver. So we're going to make the eyebrows nice and dark, starting with a very dark purpley blue. Alright, well thank you so much. I always enjoy tieflings. And then we can work up to a slightly lighter indigo blue for some highlights. But they're very dark, so we're going to keep it quite simple there. Whoops. Might just take the shine off for now because it's a bit easy to see what I'm doing. I'll put that in at the end. Cool. So with that, we are actually doing pretty well. So the next thing I'm going to do is her ears. Starting with a really dark colour for the inner ear here. Then we can use some of these other colours to just add a general bit of shading in areas where we're going to have it. Whoops! Just realised we have not got the layer locked, so me. I believe this character is a gunslinger character, which I think was a subclass of fighter? I'm not totally sure. And then let's get that nice rich purple for some highlights. And then we'll save again, because we do not want to lose everything. Okay, next thing to do, I think we'll tackle the horns. Obviously one of the most important parts to a tiefling. So, the horns are going to be dark, so we're actually just going to start the skin layer. And then just scribble this colour down and across. The slight gradient that tends towards a more purpley grey at the bottom. Thank you very much. Whoops! Look at what you're doing, Rachel. Okay, then we can work down this gradient, pick a slightly darker colour, and introduce that. And then of course, blending it in. Like so. Oh, thank you so much to the sub gift from the Sea of Atlas. That's very, very kind of you. Subs make a massive difference, and the more subs I have, the more interesting content I can make. I'm at a point where I can start making some more stuff now, just about. So keep an eye on the channel, and there might be some new bits popping up. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is we're going to add a bit of texture to these horns. This will be a bit experimental to start with, so we'll see how it goes. I'm going to need a bigger brush than that. Yes, if you still have an Amazon Prime sub knocking about that you haven't spent yet, do please consider throwing it at me. It makes such a big difference for us small streamers, so thank you again so much everyone who has subbed. And if you are a sub, please don't forget you can access our Discord, which has places to chat about art, D&D, kind of, it's just a nice chill little community. Alright, I quite like that pattern for the horns. I might keep that and do the same on the other side. And then just a little bit of blending. Thank you so much, Thorin, for subscribing with Prime. Thank you so much. It's very, very kind. Again, thank you. I cannot thank you enough. And thank you as well, Karima53, for following. I'm sorry I missed that earlier. I've been quite engrossed in this piece, so I apologize if I missed some follows down the line. Alright, now let's add some highlights to these horns. We're going to use the same kind of purple we've got on the face. Just gently add some highlights to these ridges. Come chat about tieflings all day long. Okay, we've got some nice texture on those horns now. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. So I think the next thing I really want to tackle is the neck. This is going to be quite complex to shade because we've got an interesting kind of position going on. So I'm probably going to have to try a few things. Get a bit experimental, you know? But to start off with, usually when I'm shading skin on the neck or other regions like that, I'll keep the brush strokes fairly like messy to start with, as it's very, again, just seeing where I like the tone to fall, that kind of thing. you so much, Lezef, for the cheer. Oh my goodness. That's very, very, very kind. And honestly, Lezef, you're always an absolute marvel, so thank you. As I work out tiefling skin. Can be a little bit more challenging when you're working with a colour palette that's obviously quite different to normal kind of people's skin. But we always get there in the end. Alright, so what I might do here is, again, we don't need these guidelines anymore. Oops, we need those ones though, so I'm just going to remove them. There we go, like so. Just because it means we can be a bit more organic with the paintwork. And then just blending, 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 blending. Because we wouldn't actually really have that mark there yet, that would start lower down. Honestly, this chat is so wonderful and wholesome. I'm so grateful for all of you every day. You make streaming a joy. Alright, I'd say we're getting there with this actually. Even add bits of highlights on this side. Coming down like so. Which reminds me, I need to make some more emotes soon. I have after all got another tiefling character to add to the emote roster. Let's just blend in this bit of highlight that we've got going here. That's a bit too hard there, actually. Let's get rid of that. We don't need that light right there. What time are we at? Oh, we're still doing pretty good for time. Let's move this slightly to the left. I'm going to keep that fairly loose for now. I'll probably tidy that up a bit later. I'm just going to blend that in a wee bit more. The eyes are a lot of fun. I love brightly coloured eyes a lot. In fact, I'm almost thinking I might want to add a bit more. Not necessarily just to the eyes, but to the area around them, to help the eyes kind of pop. Oh, there we go. I like that a lot. Yeah. That's really made those nice and bright. Okay, so just make a start on the hair so you guys can kind of see what color it's going to be. So that might be my next step. So to do that, I'm going to make a new layer underneath skin, call it hair. And we are going to pick, let me just double check my reference guide for this character. We are going to go with, okay, so this character, yes. They have a nice indigo to silver ombre going. So to do that, let's kind of start what we did for the eyebrows. Let's start with that nice bluish purple, and then we'll just whack down a starting base coat. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I've never played a gunslinger, but they do strike me as very interesting characters to play with a lot of cool, unique stuff going for them. Alright, so just kind of filling into the very edge of the lines. Again, this stage is usually quite paint by numbers. As long as you don't go outside the lines, you're good. And then just zooming in for the little wispy bits, which can take a bit more finesse. As I said, finesse. Okay, let's just do this bit that comes down and across the chest. Ooh, Warforged Gunslinger, that must be pretty cool. I guess you could kind of flavor the guns into part of the character design itself. Right, almost done with this bit. Alright, now for the right hand side. And then zooming in again to make sure we don't go over those lines. And then some wispy bits up here. And then slightly bigger brushes, we just do the just noticing bits of opacity that are a bit too weak up there, so just fill those in quickly. And just join up that bit of hair there. And then we can continue moving down. Oh, I love ASMR as well. ASMR are great. Basically, all the plain touch races I super love. They're probably all my favorites. 100% agree with you. Those Ganassi, Tieflings, ASMR, definitely my top 3. Water Ganassi is probably my top of my Ganassi list. I had a Ganassi Ranger planned like a year and a half ago now, but as always, the campaign never actually got off the ground, so they remain on the back burner. Bit done. We've got a few little wisps to do up here. And like here. Just gonna tidy that up so make it nice and sharp. And we have the hair. So with that, we don't really need this palette anymore, so I'm just gonna get rid of that. And then we're just gonna start rendering out the hair. So what we're going to do is we're firstly going to make sure it is locked. We're then, I actually kind of want to take it towards blue a bit for the highlights. So I am going to just add a bit of blue there. And then we're going to take it a little darker around the areas that would naturally be in more shadow. Such as here and here. As for the silver ombre, we will come to that in a bit. So for now, we're going to put on a blur to get a nice gradient going. That will do us nicely. And before I forget, we're just going to tidy up the skin layer a bit. We've got a few spots where, as you can see, the paint's going further than it should be. So let's just tidy that there up. Like so. Now that's a lot better. Alright, it is time to start rendering, so let's have a think. Let's do the normal way, I think. We're going to eyedrop a kind of a mid-tone from this gradient we've just made. And I'm just going to start, actually let's go straight in with my nice rendering brush. For rendering hair, I always use this brush. It's the first brush in the Glue and Fur Brushes pack, which is something you can Google, pretty easy to find. It's kind of pay what you want on Gumroad. Really worth it because they are fantastic for rendering hair, as you will see. One of the problems that I find with the default settings in Photoshop is it's very hard to get a brush with a proper pointy end, which this brush does marvelously. And it's perfect for shading hair. It's a good point actually, now you mention it. There's a bit there that needs to be chopped back. There we go. And I'm already going to be eyedropping from down here to get a darker shadow shade because we're going to need those darks. see how that's taking shape there. Okay. And then just putting that shadow down here too. Now it looks to me like we're missing some opacity in a few areas, so that's why I've turned off the alpha lock for now. Yes, I thought I had, now I actually have. Okay, now turn it back on. Alright, as you can see here, we're actually going to need to get another colour because we've reached the darkest part of the gradient, so the colour we currently have selected won't shade it anymore. Some nice dark tones there, and we'll just render out this bit that's coming across the chest. Like so. And then we'll start rendering on the other side. Oh, thank you so much to the 2 sub gifts from Lezef. Lezef is really on fire today. As always, it's massively appreciated. Enjoy the sun, everyone! Alright, getting out of this hair now. Just take a slightly lighter colour for the time being. And thank you so much, Litwick, my boy, for the follow. Also, that's a great username because Litwick is one of my favourite ghost types. Alright, now we'll continue that dark tone down and through the bottom right hand side of the hair. I'm almost thinking I might just switch up to bigger brush because my hand is getting really tired working with a little brush and doing a million small strokes. Oh gosh, I've got to pronounce this. Thank you so much, Tavo. Oh gosh, I've already messed up. Tavo, oh, I can't do it. Tavo, Mama Yeramano Mama, and Systems Go for following. There we go, got there in the end. And thank you so much for Rebel for joining me as always. Have a wonderful evening and a fantastic weekend, and I will see you next week. Well, you know, not see you, but I guess you'll see me. Nearly done with the hair rendering now. so we're going to just sample from the brightest part of the hair gradient, and we will use that to add some highlights to the lower parts. And we'll do the same over here because we're going to need some like so. And then moving further down, we will have some around here too. This means the shadows don't have to do so much of the heavy lifting. Awesome, and now we can add some proper highlights. So grabbing a lighter colour, I'm going to take the brush down a little bit and pop in some nice highlights to this indigo. Like so, making that colour really pop. And we'll pop a bit over here as well. Of course, we're going to have the kind of ombre tones coming in, but we're not worried about those later. Alright, and what this kind of allows us to see is there are some areas, particularly on the horns, where I want to add some darker, but also richer colours. So I'm just going to quickly do that, swap it down to my usual brush. And I'm just going to blend these in a bit more. Okay, and what I can also do there is we can also just bump up saturation a little bit, just so it matches what we've got going with the hair and the skin. And lastly, I'm going to go up to the overlines there just to add bigger brush than that, I think. Just add a few bright points of light coming up on those corners. Okay, so I'm not sure there's anything else I want to do at this point. Yeah, same, you know, I would love to have hair this long. I cannot keep it. I just get really, like, frustrated and sick of it. I'm actually going to add some faint side lights coming from the left. Just see what I feel about it. I think it might help balance the face out a bit. at that bit there on the cheekbone. The cheek here is not quite in the right place for it, but I think on the jaw it works. Because then we can also add it up here. Yeah, okay, that's coming along quite nice. And then a tiny bit just coming down the side of the neck. And it just helps give us that little bit of definition on a few areas. Okay, so my arm is starting to get very tired, so I think this is probably where I will be leaving it for today. So let's just quickly do a save. And with that, let's pop some links in chat. If you want to hear updates about when my commissions are open, about when I will be... yeah, it's true, arm status calamitous. About when Twitters, what does that mean? About when I will be streaming, about when commissions will be open, and to see finished pieces, do consider dropping me a follow on Twitter. If Twitter isn't your thing, no problem. I also have Instagram. I'll also be posting miniature painting, costume making, all that kind of stuff can pop up on my Instagram. So also consider checking that out. Next up, if you've enjoyed the music in this stream, it is all by a wonderful artist named Kai Engel. You can find their work on the Free Music Archive as well as Spotify and all the major kind of music hosting places. If you purely want to see my portfolio, please take a look at my ArtStation. Most of my best stuff is on there, so do check that out if you are interested. Cool. Next, YouTube. If you missed the start of the stream or would like to see my other painting process videos, YouTube is the place to go. I upload all of my VODs now onto YouTube, as well as hopefully some new content coming out this weekend. Lastly, but most certainly not leastly, if you would like to throw me some more support and just help me to do this as my full-time job, do check out my Patreon. There are various rewards on there, such as commission priority, sketches, works in progress, step-by-step tutorials, lots of bits and pieces on there for you to have a look at. Alright, so I think that's everything. I am very, very hungry, so I'm gonna go order a takeaway because it's my Bad Friday night. So I hope all of you have a lovely Friday and indeed a lovely weekend. I will be back next week at 5 PM UK time, that's GMT, on Wednesday, where who knows what project I'll be working on. Join me then to find out. Until then, stay safe, stay cozy, and I will see you all soon. Goodbye for now.